welcome back to the 22nd Drunk Friend episode. As always, I'm Travis, joined by Alex. Alex, how are things going? This past week, I celebrated a birthday, but you're doing something way cooler than that. Your face was on the internet, which is rare.
Yeah, what was I thinking?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. Happy birthday. You're 22 now, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna use that joke again. But I was part of this virtual convention called Uplink, hosted by Long Island Retro Gaming, and it was weird. It was incredibly nerve-wracking, and I don't do stuff like this. This is the main reason I did this convention is because I knew it would be out of my comfort zone. I knew I could learn some things from it, learn what it's like to prepare for something like this, learn how these sort of things go, and I got the full experience for sure because it's pretty nerve-wracking. It's not. I'm not cut out. I just don't have the stomach for stuff like this. Like the lead up to it just kills me.
Well, I heard you killed it, man. I heard some glowing reviews. A lot of our close friends tuned in to check it out, and they said you did great. So nothing to worry about, I guess.
It's nice of them to lie. I'm glad the check cleared.
Did you actually visibly vomit while on camera? And they're like, no, he was good. We're not going to talk about that part. But yeah, he got sick.
Well, Pearl even mentioned, it's like, wow, you sounded nervous at the beginning there. I was like, that's because I was.
Yeah, of course.
It turned out to be up to 124 people signed up. I don't know how many people were in there at once, but that's how many people ended up like registering to see it, to get in. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But
pretty cool.
So I had all these notes.
You now. Would you ever consider doing anything like that again?
I don't know. It depends, but definitely not in person. I'm not ready for that yet. Yeah. That must be like another level of stress to do that in person in front of people with like all those eyes staring you down. Like that's scary. But a virtual one, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It would have to be free first of all, but free for the person watching.
Right.
That was kind of a bummer that it had to cost money. I get why, it's because they had the convention had all sorts of other stuff to do. There were tournaments. There was a D&D thing, I think. There was all sorts of scoreboards and stuff. It was a big Discord thing, community, and it was from that perspective it was cool.
Yeah.
I don't think I would do that again. I had all these notes written out, and I used maybe half of them because all anybody wanted to do was just ask questions and just hang out and talk Super Nintendo. So that's what I did for like 40 minutes of it.
Cool. Well, that's good, man. I'm glad it worked out. So that's all behind you now. You can go back to focusing on videos, which you didn't actually stop doing because of this, but at least now that's the only thing, I guess, on the horizon. And you blessed us this week with something that was actually pretty cool. You talked about Waterworld, which, when I saw it come up on my feed, I was like, why is he doing Waterworld? Like, why? He's not. He doesn't enjoy. I know he's going to not enjoy that game, but then you start the video, you start talking about the soundtrack, and then something cool came out of that.
Yeah, that's the only reason I even thought of doing a video on Waterworld was because of the music. Because I did a video, I think it was last year, about it was a 3-hour video about relaxing Super Nintendo music, and it's getting a ton of views. It's getting a lot of comments too, and the thing that people most comment on is the very first track that leads it off, which is a track from Waterworld, and it sounds awesome. And the soundtrack of the whole game is really good. So I gave the composer Dean Evans a shout out, and I linked his own personal YouTube page in the description of my video. And it turns out like over 100 people went over there and said like, Snowstrunk sent me blah, blah, blah. So he reached out to me and said, hey, I just want to say thanks for, giving me a shout out. And, this game was so I think the way he said it was like, this game was pretty dang forgettable. Even I almost forgot about it. But this was really a a pleasure, to wake up to a email box full of stuff, full of such nice comments. So
that's cool.
It's a really cool that somebody that did such great work back in the day, 25 years ago, was able to get the appropriate amount of credit today for
That's
it.
good.
And
Yeah.
so I feel pretty good about that. And I'm really happy that he was such a nice guy about it.
Yeah, that's great that you're able to make that guy's day, man. That's awesome. And he sounds like a cool dude. Maybe one day we could talk to him here on the old podcast. That'd be kind of cool to get some people that are actually involved in the industry back in the day and pick their brain about some of their experiences.
Yeah, here's hoping, fingers crossed. But yeah, that would be awesome. He is I believe he's still in the music business. So he, I'm sure he's really busy with that stuff. But yeah, I'll throw an what's the right cliche? I'll give him an olive branch or something like that. Something with olives.
You could extend an olive branch.
Extend an olive branch. That's what it is. Yes.
I thought you only did that when you were like upset with one another and be like, here, take this olive branch. I'm sorry. Like I thought that was kind of how that worked. I don't know. This could be another stem to stern situation.
Maybe he's secretly mad at me. He's like, I never wanted to hear this crap again.
I don't know adages very well.
I completely butchered that cliche. I don't do coach speak very well. So
right.
Yeah.
Fair enough, man. Well, you also did JJ Squawkers. I actually just watched that one a few minutes ago, and that game hurt my eyeballs, but it did look neat.
It's a weird game. It's intensely weird. And it helped answer the question, like, why did arcade developers bother with platformers? It's because if you make them really crazy and really hard, they have a certain appeal.
Oh.
And they'll eat all your quarters forever.
Right.
Because that game is crazy looking, and it's one of the hardest platformers I've ever played. I mean,
really?
It's just
wow.
It's absurd. Yeah, it's so over the top difficult. With the amount of stuff the game throws at you, it's like you can't see, like I say it in the video, but you can't see what is an enemy and what's the background. It's like, wait, what just killed me? I didn't even see anything. But
yeah, some of those backgrounds on the later levels that you showed looked like my TV was having a stroke. Like I wasn't sure. I was like, is that part of the game, or is something happening that my TV can't render whatever that's supposed to be? Like it was really strange.
Yeah, it's it was a weird one for sure. Yeah.
Cool. And then I put out one on Road Blasters, it's kind of a neat little car combat NES game it's pretty fun.
Blasting some roads. Nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
not.
it's a great NES title. It's Road Blasters. You can't just be a racer, a road racer. You got to be a road blaster.
That's right, man. It's actually a port of an arcade game, but it probably requires a steering wheel, which could be a little tough for you to cover. But I hear the arcade game is really good. People like that too.
Not familiar with it. All I know is that when I hear the name, I see a Trapper Keeper, in my head. It just brings me back to those days.
Trapper Keeper. We should do a whole Trapper Keeper episode. Good job. Good idea. So we didn't have a ton of emails, so we're going to mix in some emails with some reviews that we've gotten for the show, because we want to share those. We want to entice people to send their reviews and also send us some emails. So our one email here for this episode is from Robert Auguste. I'm sorry, De Mayor. I'm sure I got some of that right, and I'm sure I got a lot of it wrong, Robert. I'm very sorry. I hope you're still our friend. But Robert sends us an email about ROM hacks. He says, "Howdy, drunk buddies. I was just listening to the podcast while playing Soul Blazer, and I kept thinking this game would be twice as good if it only had a diagonal movement. Then I wondered which hacks you guys dreamed of. Things like two-player co-op Final Fight, or Super Metroid with zero mission controls, or Super Mario Bros. 3 World with Princess Toadstool, or whatever Secret of Evermore needs for Alex's tastes." So what do you have there for Robert? You got a good wish list of ROM hacks?
My ultimate dream is two-player Chrono Trigger. That is where you can both wander around separately on the world map, and even on just like a battle screen, the normal maps. When you're going through mazes and stuff like that, or going through dungeons, you're both, you can go where you want. That way you don't have to equip stuff to a particular character necessarily. You can just like, you open up a treasure chest and you get that thing for that particular character. Like, that is really far-fetched. It's probably not going to, no way that's possible, I don't think, but that would be really fun. And it would streamline the experience a little bit.
Right on.
But as far as what he says about like Secret of Evermore, it's just new dungeons that aren't so boring, really.
Maybe a little soundtrack. Maybe add like a couple notes of music to that game somewhere.
Oh, you can't diss that soundtrack. People are going to be mad at you.
I know it's all ambient and it's creaks and wind, but do a little something. Put a little piano in there for a minute. Give me a little something.
Yeah, I guess
it is neat. I don't say I hate it, but it is. I think it adds to the boringness, to be honest.
The guy, it kind of does, yeah. And then there's the mismatch of the weird sound effects too, like the bugs going squish, this cartoony squish sound. That doesn't do it for me. Sorry, but no, the guy that does the soundtrack for that game is the same guy that does the soundtrack to like all the Elder Scrolls games.
Yeah.
So
I did know
Jeremy Soule or something like that. I forget his name, but yeah. So if you slag that guy, you know people take that personally. So we might actually get some angry emails.
Well, and as soon as you get Dean Evans on, the next step you get Jeremy Soule. So I got to tread lightly. I got to be, I'm being nice to these guys. I'm just saying, a little piano or something here and there. Give me a little something. For me, I think both of mine are kind of the same. I wouldn't mind having that first Double Dragon there on the NES be co-op simultaneous, because as it stands, you take turns. And Double Dragon, it's all about being a bro with your bro. And high-fiving and wearing matching bandanas and kicking some dude butt. And I think simultaneous would help. I think the same thing about the first Ninja Turtles. It's a single-player experience.
Ooh.
Let a couple people go through that with a couple turtles. Do that whole thing. It's still hard as shit. There's no way you'll beat it, but it'd be more fun, I think.
It'd be more fun to suffer through that underwater level, yeah. And all that that game's got some of the most ridiculous enemy design I can ever remember seeing in a game. It's just like, what even is that thing that's like bouncing around?
Yeah,
it looks like just a mess of pixels. But yeah, no, it would be fun to have the opportunity to complain with another player about how hard it is.
Absolutely, it would. Okay, let's go into some reviews then. I'll take the first one here, I guess. You could take the next two. First one here is from John Jin. 532-479-544, and I hope that's not your social security number there, John Jin, because I just read it out loud. But he titles this review Like-Minded Goodness. He says, I've been listening to this podcast for the last couple of months and watching SNES Drunk for a couple of years now, and from your humor to the movie, TV, music references, I've been entertained for the whole ride. Great banter and topics. I completely agree that only the first decade or so of The Simpsons is worth watching. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, I mean, seasons 2 through 10, I would say. And even season 10, that's where you start running into some bad episodes.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that. And thank you, John Jin, for the nice comment there. It's weird that people say, like, yeah, I was really entertained by SNES Drunk. And it's like, I didn't really set out to do that. I set out to hoping it would be useful for people. It's like, what is this game? And here's what it is.
Well, you turned a corner at some point. You went from being like, hey, this is what this game's about. No, you shouldn't play it, to like putting Dusty Baker references in there. And you got John Stossel stuff. And there was what was the one I heard earlier today? Dirk Ziggler or something like that?
Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, Dolph Ziggler from WWE. Yeah, you're all over them. Now it's entertainment and educational. You've married the two. You're having fun with it, and it shows.
I think it's because of the type of games I'm getting into at this point, because it's hard not to lean into the ridiculousness of some of these arcade games because they're so over the top. And then on the other side, with the Super Nintendo stuff I'm getting into at this point is, you get into some kind of crappy games like Waterworld, and it's like, well, I know a lot of people tune in for games that they want to play, so I have to come up with another reason. Maybe I'll make somebody chuckle or something like that with some dumb comment about Dusty Baker.
It works.
I guess it did, yeah. So,
actually, I wanted to point out one of the funniest things to me, and I don't even know if you meant for it to be that funny, but I've been laughing about it I guess since the Waterworld video. I even showed my wife, who didn't think it was that funny, but one part, you're talking about Waterworld on the Virtual Boy, and you said something like, what should we do wrong or whatever, or what's wrong with all this? Everything? Oh, okay. Like there's something about like that banter or that line that just killed me. I don't know what it was.
Well, I mean, in my head when I see that game, it's like, so was the dev team seriously like, hey, look at this, like these crappy pre-rendered sprites and a black sky on a black ocean? What's nothing wrong with that? It's like, yes, there is. There's a lot wrong with that. So I just
okay.
I just phrased it, like what's wrong with that? Oh, everything? Yeah. So yeah, no, that's just me being a smart ass, basically. And that comes naturally. That comes very easy to me. Next review we've got here is from Alfgui.
All right.
I don't know how to say that, but he says, great for retro gamers. As a bona fide dork, I love retro gaming videos. This podcast gives a touch of insight behind the scenes with retro gaming YouTubers and others. Love it. And thank you. That's very nice to say. That's kind of the idea, is to show people what it's, the kind of stuff you run into, and to help people understand the type of people that are making these videos, to let them shine. And then we've got another one from Guy2318, who says, a great listen even for casual gamers. I got into SNES Drunk about 2 years ago when my first child was born, and I was up in the middle of the night wide awake looking for new stuff on YouTube and was instantly hooked. His videos have perfect rhythm, pace, and length, unlike most bloated stuff on YouTube. Thanks for noticing. That's kind of the idea. Anyways, that led me to this podcast and discovering DrunkFriend, whose YouTube channel is also great. Check it out. I agree. And it's a great listen with good banter along with interesting interviews, which I have found even more YouTube channels to watch from these interviews. And again, that's kind of the idea. So thanks for noticing. And all this from a guy who only grew up with the Sega Genesis and only experience with NES or SNES was friends. So even if you only have a slight familiarity with retro Nintendo gaming, this podcast has much more to offer than just that. Keep up the good work. Again, that's a really nice review. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, that's perfect. That hits all the notes for me. It's like, well, first of all, he discovered me through you, so that's good. Thank you. But also, he's doing what we were hoping for, which is sharing other content creators, and it looks like it's working. We're doing a good thing. We're doing a service.
That's right. Yeah. And speaking of which, I hope you guys check out our next guest. It's David from Mariachi Entertainment System, and they are amazing. And you guys are really going to love this interview because he's really freaking funny.
Dude, my cheeks hurt still from that interview. And I've thought about little quips that he said all day long, just thinking back on how funny it is. But yeah, if you're into, obviously, if you listen to this, you're into some old school games. So they have a lot of cool mariachi-styled themes of stuff like Vegas theme from Street Fighter, Frog's theme from Chrono Trigger, Terra's theme from Final Fantasy VI, so many more. I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg. A lot of cool stuff. And they've even played at like PAX South and MagFest, which hopefully we get another chance to go out and catch them do that again, because that would be outstanding to check out.
Yeah, for sure. That's a must for me. If they're anywhere near me, I'd like to go check them out live.
Right on, man. All right, up next is David. We'll be back after some quick coolor. All right, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. We really appreciate you coming on, man. Thanks so much.
Hey, thank you for having me, man. I'm a little starstruck and shit.
Not from me, obviously. You got Alex over there. Is probably.
I mean,
the big
reason. I know Trav is a huge star now with his NES friend account, but I mean, come on, like this is gonna go to his head if you keep this up, man.
Man, he's famous, man. Haven't you seen his stuff? Nah, yeah, but thank you for having me.
Of course, man. We've been wanting to have you on for a while, because we love your band so much. It's so much fun. Like it captures the fun of video games and brings it into a completely new context, and we love that about your band. It's so much fun to listen to, and I haven't been lucky enough to see you guys live yet. Hopefully that'll happen one day, but yeah, I bet you guys are a blast live too.
Well, man, I appreciate that. If you two guys like us, that makes three of us that like us. So that's a good start. And yeah, man, we don't get to play live too much, and I know that a lot of people have a lot of enthusiasm for that, but yeah, it would be really, really fun to start going places and get that opportunity to play for more people.
Yeah, right on, dude. And yeah, thanks again for coming on. And in typical Drunk Friend fashion, because the name of the podcast is Drunk Friend, we have to ask you what you're drinking. And I know you and the band, you don't shy away from taking a few shots before you get down to the music business. But tonight, what beverage do you have handy?
Well, tonight I've got to take it easy because we got to talk and I got to be somewhat coherent. So I had to go with Blue Moon because my dad took my only arrogant bastard. It would have been great for the night, but so I have Blue Moon that was purchased by Coors, I don't know how many years ago, and now it just tastes like focus grouped horse pee. But that's what I'm drinking. What are you guys drinking?
I've never heard that before. Focus grouped. I'm gonna start using that.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. It's focus grouped.
What a bummer.
It is. Yeah, I hate it, but it's doing the job. So yeah, but usually it would be, and I would have tequila, but I'm going. It's trying times right now, man, with COVID, and so I'm going light on the budget. That's another reason for the Blue Moon. But yeah, tequila I think is my normal poison. If you, yeah,
right.
I was gonna say, not being able to talk has never stopped me from drinking too much on this podcast. So
that's a good point.
What's your go-to tequila brand? Like if money weren't an object, what's your go-to?
See, if money weren't an object, there's a couple of them. The one that I really, really like, Don Julio makes several varieties. I guess all makers of tequila make several varieties. The silver reposado and the añejo. But Don Julio makes another variety. It's called 1942. That's 1942. And it is just absolute caramel.
I was going to say, it's smooth.
No, man, it's so good, man. And that would be if money were no issue, I would drink that all the time. But money is an issue, and so I never drink it.
Well, in the spirit of the evening, I did make myself a bit of a margarita because I was like, you can't really do anything else, on a night like this. So
I've been listening to that music all day, man. I love it. Here in Albuquerque too. You can't. I mean, it's people are. There's a bunch of bands out here that are for hire out here that do all sorts of events and stuff like that, especially over in Old Town. But so they're just out and about, just playing music, restaurants, stuff like that. It's awesome. But I have Monk's Dark Ale, and the only reason I'm drinking this is because I think it's 6.5, and it was the strongest thing I could find. So I'm like, all right, this is gonna work.
Even then, you sound like you feel like it's somewhat weak. By comparison.
I know. My tolerance is so high now.
Right.
That's the one thing quarantine has killed is my tolerance.
If you want to hear how high Alex's tolerance is, you can listen to episode 19 of our podcast.
Oh, really?
Please don't.
Yeah. Oh, I'm looking forward to that. I used to have a tolerance. I used to be able to drink amounts of alcohol that would slay a walrus. And that was in college, but now I'm just I drink 2 beers and I'm like, somebody get me to bed. I'm tired.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing.
But yeah, man.
That's great.
We're blasted. I'm blasted. I drank 2 sips of my Blue Moon and I'm blasted.
Those focus groups don't mess around anymore, man. They've really stepped it up.
Good point. Yeah, you know what I'm gonna do?
The focus group is nothing but Barney Gumble and Homer Simpson and all
got
those
a little more
guys.
Focused.
They got a 1-800 number. They got a 1-800 number on the back. I'm gonna call and contribute my 2 cents right now.
Nice. What are you drinking? Or wait, you already said you're drinking.
Yeah, doing that.
I already messed this up.
No, so that's at 6% talking already. That's at high tolerance.
Oh man, this Monks.
That's the point too.
Louise.
That's the point too.
Yeah. So I was, we discussed a little bit about how with COVID and everything is interrupting some of your flow. But But with a lot of the videos that you produce, it seems like a lot of the times you've done that, you've been able to be remote and sync everything up in some way. So in regard to like video making and that kind of thing, what kind of a toll has these new circumstances put on the old YouTube channel?
You know, it's pretty interesting. Initially, I thought, like, this is it. I just thought, we're toast, and we're never going to recover, you know. And I even put out a post to the Patreons, and I was like, look, I don't know when we're going to be back because, you know, we're not, like, I can't have people over at my house and, you know, et cetera. And so, and I think probably the next day we have a group chat, you know, with the band, obviously. And I was saying, hey, guys, you know, this is really kind of sad. And then somebody said, well, I have a microphone. And then somebody else said, well, I also have a microphone. And I was like, well, I have one I could lend out. And like before we knew it, we figured out everyone had the ability to record from their home. And so I was just like, well, shit, dude, let's do more then. You know, like since we're all just stuck at home. Now. Yeah, let's just do. And so we did. So we started just filming, and it's a little bit more cumbersome because I have to ask the band members to do more on their own, which normally I would take care of. You know, but it hasn't really been that much of a problem. But it takes a lot more coordination. You know, I have to do a lot more prep. But otherwise, it hasn't slowed us down a bit. It's kind of made things a little bit easier, and we want to produce even more. Like, we're trying to go up to 2 tunes a month instead of just 1.
Ooh.
So, yeah, but don't get too excited because it's like that second tune would be probably not likely related to video games or pop culture the way we normally do. We'd probably do something like traditional. That would be the second tune that we would do, you know, because I think we also, for us, or at least for me, Mariachi Entertainment System is about legitimacy, right? And for those of us that, you know, we grew up on video game music, we've been in this fight for many years of trying to legitimize video game music as art, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And so we do, right? We're trying to convince the rest of the world, you know, with our covers and with orchestras and with analysis that our art is good art. And so it's the same thing with mariachi. You know, we want to legitimize that. You know, there's a lot of people that think that mariachi is a bunch of fat, drunk dudes, which it is, but like not all the time, you know. Sometimes they're fat, sober dudes that can really play.
They can play, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then within the mariachi community itself, I think we also want to legitimize ourselves and say, hey, you know, we're not just some ringer cats that came in and, you know, sight read a part. Like, we actually do this mariachi thing like for a living. And so it's all about legitimacy to me. That was a long spiel, but yeah.
No, you're fine. I love hearing that because I never thought of the mariachi side of it because it's that's totally true. When you think of like a mariachi band, it's like, okay, so you play weddings then, or, you know, like you play bar mitzvah, you know, you play whatever, you play birthdays, and it's like a novelty. Like, I introduce people to your music, and I describe it as like, oh, they're a mariachi band, but they play video game music, and they're like, oh, it's a novelty thing, you know, like, oh, whoop-de-doo, and then they hear part of your cover for Chrono Trigger, like some of that, or Final Fantasy VI, and like, oh, these guys can play. These guys are really freaking good. Like, this is a real arrangement. This is like real music. Real thought was put into this. This isn't just like a fly-by-night kind of a deal. This is absolutely legit.
Right. I think that's what we're going for, and I think I'm most appreciative that people notice that. And I think that's why you show it to people, because for you having had the experience, right? Like, I'm pretty sure that you go like, this guy's going to dismiss me right off the bat when I say this, but then when he hears it, like, I'm going to be cool in his book, you know? Yeah. So it's exactly that, you know, we don't, I know that, and actually a lot of mariachis do that. They do the novelty, you know, they do try to pull out Super Mario, you know? Yeah. And it's very, and I think that, and this is not to discredit, but I think that their roundedness in terms of musicianship can be limited sometimes because that's their only experience. And so how to combine one genre of music that they know very, very well with another one that they don't know at all can be, it can sound like a novelty. You know, but I was fortunate enough to have a lot of influences growing up, and so we're combining many. And we're not just taking guesses at what we think would sound good. We're doing research, and we're trying to pull the best influences into our music and make that an arrangement that's palatable for everybody.
What were some of your influences growing up?
Oh, Jesus, man, I was such a weird kid. I didn't know my dad had me listening to the Eagles and Bob Dylan and Bob Seger and Dire Straits, and my brother had me listening to Metallica and Pink Floyd, and my mom had me listening to Andrew Lloyd Webber and Joan Baez.
That's pretty eclectic right there.
Yeah. I mean, and she took me to see the Phantom of the Opera like as a little kid, and I was really riveted. And then I started playing classical trumpet. And then classical music became sort of like, that was all I really wanted to listen to. And it stayed that way for a very, very long time, probably into college. And then in college, I started, experimenting a little bit more and trying to branch out into more styles. And that's really where I started playing mariachi. And I started learning Spanish, actually, like in college. So it's been a real weird ride for me. So, yeah, I have a lot of influence. And I think that some of those influences rub my players the wrong way. Like when I voice things for violin or something, like, hey, this voicing is a little bit, it's a little soft here, you don't think you want to put some edge on it? And I'm like, nope, I want it to be nice and pristine and, beautifully played by classical musicians. So, yeah, I have weird influences, man.
I think that's really neat. And I want to go back a little bit to what you were talking about. You were like, if we release 2 a month, that second one will be maybe a more traditional mariachi type tune, not tied to video games. And I think that's great because one cool thing about what Alex and I have been able to do here, and really a lot of it is to credit Alex, is that he's aware of a lot of important within the gaming community YouTube channels, yours being one of them. And so I get introduced to all kinds of cool stuff. And your stuff is no exception. I don't know, honestly, personally, if I would have taken a chance on listening to mariachi video game music. I would have been like, I don't know if that's for me. But in preparation for this interview and listening to all the video game tracks, and then I listened to your Aha cover earlier today, and I've been trying to hit that high note around the house, and my cats are scared. I'm bought in. So now I'm really interested. I'm in the mariachi rabbit hole. And you're my gateway for that. And this was in short order. Over the period of 72 hours, I'm now looking for as much as I can take in from your channel. And so I think more traditional stuff is excellent, because now I've had my gateway. So now I'm in, and I can soak in a little bit more of those traditional and really what it's made out of, the legitimacy you were talking about, and really get entrenched in it. So I think that's really cool. I think you've sort of already proven to a lot of folks, especially, your subs and anyone that's into it, that you're obviously very good musicians. So bringing the culture more into it is really cool to me. I hope everybody also enjoys it.
Yeah, that's exactly the point. Is that in our live shows, in the middle of the concert, we throw a couple of just straight traditional songs at the audience. And it's always the most amazing experience because, it's kind of a dick move, because you're telling the audience okay, you came here to see one thing, that may or may not be surprising to you. And now we're going to take you on this other ride that maybe you don't want to get on right now, and you're having a great time, and it's going to end for a second and too fucking bad, and it amazes me every time because they get into it, for whatever reason, they really enjoy it. And I'm kind of and I think I guess it's because of what you're saying, is that there's sort of this primer where you're kind of oh, okay, this is mariachi is maybe something I didn't understand quite so well. Here's this thing that bridges the gap kind of, and now I can understand the rest of it. But that's exactly the intention. And so hopefully, if nothing else, we can just get people to start changing the stereotypes a little bit. Instead of 5 drunk guys, more like 4 buzzed guys and and a really talented woman,
Right, yeah.
So yeah, maybe we can start moving it a little bit.
So what was I gonna say? I can't remember. Shit. You made me laugh with that. You made me laugh with that comment there, and I lost my.
Hey, you know what? Actually, I have a question.
Yeah.
The intro theme to your podcast. What is that?
That's our friend Kulor. He's a dude that he's one of the mods of my SNES Discord chat room, and he makes music like that,
dude,
all the time.
That tune is fucking fire.
I'm gonna
dude.
I'm gonna
shit.
Cut this out. I'm gonna send this to him like right now because he's gonna be so happy to hear that.
Dude, that shit is fucking fire, dude. I heard it and I was just
nice.
like, all I could think about was just like, and you know, my mind is so like when it comes to music, oddly enough, like my mind is not a musical mind. It's a very like analytical thing, you know. And so number one, I'm thinking like as soon as I hear this, and I'm just kind of like, okay, like a console couldn't pull this off. The polyphony is like way too hardcore for like an actual console to actually play. But why would I think that? I'm thinking that because it sounds so like idiosyncratic to what I would hear in a video game. You know, so it just sounds so organic to what I would hear like in an old ass video game, and it was just so fucking slamming. So yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, he's part of the chiptune scene now. He still makes stuff. He's awesome. Everybody listening, go look up Kulor right now. The dude's badass. Dude.
Yeah, just based on that one tune, I was just like, I need to know who this guy is because I need to hear his other stuff, and I need to rock out to that guy.
He's awesome. He does all sorts of stuff like that. So I have to ask about the name, Mariachi Entertainment System. Did you even have like a second name in mind? Because that's just the freaking perfect name.
I did, man. I did have another name.
Did you?
Yeah,
what was it?
No, it was awful, man. We're not gonna say it here because. Shit, man, there's people listening, and you know, no.
It was that bad?
I didn't like it. I think other people did. Like I'm the worst at naming. The only thing that I've given a good name to in my life is my son. That's the only like thing I've ever been able. But I had come up with awful names. The other name, and actually, you can go look on our channel. Maybe you remember this. The original title, the original name of our band was Daveyard Shift.
I don't remember that.
Awful. Oh, it's awful. And oh god, it makes me cringe. I need a beer. Hold on, just to talk about this. I just need a whole other beer. And it lasted for a little while. And I think because I was being really selfish, like I thought I was producing all the content on my own, and I kind of was in a way. I was doing all the video editing. I was doing the arranging and the mixing and recording and mastering. I mean, I was doing most of it. And I thought, well, then this channel will be named after me, and this will be like my stage name. But very quickly, I realized that the people that I was getting to help me out, to read the music and do all that, they were like somewhat invested too, and they were enjoying the process. And I thought, okay, well then we need to be more I need to be way more inclusive and make sure that, that the people in my quote unquote band feel like they're people in my band. And so the search for a new name began, and it was a Patreon subscriber that suggested it, and I remember his name. His name is Syed Harash Asanisade. I fucking practiced that shit like for like a week before I said that on the channel.
Wow.
So yeah, and he thought of it, and I was just kind of like, we'll use that, and so it's just that's the way it's been since then.
That's fantastic, man. I love it. Yeah, no, it's I think that was one of the first things that like drew me to your channel was like, man, that's like the best name ever. Like, and then that's the other thing you brought it up. Your bandmates.
Oh yeah,
they're so professional, and everything sounds so incredibly professional. Even remotely, when you guys play, you guys sound like absolute pros. You are absolute pros.
That's crazy.
Everybody in the band is very seasoned. They all have a lot of experience playing live. I've seen some of your storytelling stuff on YouTube where you tell stories about like where I think it was Doomsday almost jammed the trumpet down the trumpet player's mouth or something like that.
Yeah, that shit was crazy, man. That's bananas that you even saw
she
that.
Just turned the wrong direction. She didn't know.
Yeah, she like, and
she just kind of froze.
But you know what? That's crazy, man. And you know what? I remember you. Like, I remember you were on our channel like early on. Like,
this was back in I think it was the Turtles in Time, or no, it had to have been like a Chrono Trigger video or something like that. You know what it was? It was the
Chrono
Star
Trigger?
Wars throne. It was the Star Wars throne room thing, because I remember making a comment on that video and saying something like, because it was so well done and it was so unexpected, and I was just like, you know what I'm gonna do? You know what someone should do? Someone should like remake the throne room scene in Star Wars and edit it so everybody's wearing sombreros and just play this song over it instead, because it'd be so much better. But yeah, and then I think you guys did Chrono Trigger, the Millennial Fair, which is a classic, absolute classic, and I think you did a Ninja Turtles one after that too.
Right.
I can't remember which one. But
Yeah, it was the Turtles in Time. But I think you were there, because I remember seeing your comment, and I was like, what the shit? Like, I watched this guy's videos. Like, why is he watching mine? This is stupid. And I turned on my computer.
Why wouldn't I watch yours?
I was scared, Alex. I didn't know what to do.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I didn't know what to do, so I was just like, oh, turn it off. But yeah, you were there early, and I remember telling people, like, dude, like, I'm a fan of this guy, and they didn't get it. Like, I think like non-YouTube people don't get it, you know? They don't get like the YouTube community. When you tell them the guy that I watches me, like, it sounds creepy. You know, but like, it's cool, you know, it's super cool.
Out of context, that does sound creepy, but yeah, no, it is definitely cool. Yeah, I have a couple guys that are like way more popular than me that are subscribed to me. It's pretty cool to see their name on the sub list for sure. But yeah, it's no, I loved your arrangements and just the quality and just the professionalism of the whole production of everything. Like Terra's theme of Final Fantasy VI is amazing sounding.
That's
like,
crazy, man. You know, two things, and especially because you mentioned Terra's theme. You know, like Terra's theme is one of the ones where I like our version of it, and not to say that, you know, I'm like, oh, I think we're great, but I do like our version of it. But I also think that our version of that tune, excuse me, like many others, is really, really simple. Like, I don't feel like there was a lot of thought that went into like how to orchestrate it. Like, it just made sense in my mind. Like, we'll just do this, and this, and this. Like, almost
you guys
like it's not.
You guys already have like the flute there. You guys already have the violin.
Right.
You guys exactly. And then the trumpet. It makes sense where to put that.
Yes, exactly. See, so I'm basically saying, like, it's not that hard, and so I'm always terrified that like some other group is gonna do the same thing. But it also speaks to, like, you had these really great things to say about our players, and I'm glad, because, man, these cats, they're so stupid good. And they all do like different things like really, really well. And holy crap, this shit, yeah, man, we would not have this without them. Yeah, it's great. Chewy's a stupid horn player. Like, that guy is just absolutely ridiculous, man. Yeah,
dude's a beast.
Yeah, man. He's insane. And then Doomsday, man, she plays flute.
What can't she do?
Yeah, I know exactly. I think she can't. You know what? I'll tell you what she can't do. She cannot enjoy her own performance. That's what she can't do.
No way.
She just hates it. Like, dude, I wish I could show you the screenshots that I have, like, where, like, and then I guess maybe you've noticed, Alex, that like I call everybody dad. You know?
You do, yeah.
I just call everybody dad, and I have text from her where she's like, we'll put out a video, and I'll tell everybody, hey, the video's live, and she'll text me like maybe 5 minutes. She's like, Dad, I want to throw up. You know, like, Dad, take it down.
So the dad thing is just your thing?
Kind of, yeah. It was when I was actually Doomsday, but when I found out I was gonna be a father. I don't know if you.
Oh, gotcha.
All right.
Have you ever seen? Did you ever watch How I Met Your Mother?
Yeah.
There's this scene in there where the character Marshall is recalling, or they're in childbirth. Lily and Marshall are in childbirth, and like the baby comes out, and then like Ted's character sort of like freeze frames, and he reminisces on this moment that they had when they were in college, where Marshall staples his shirt to his bicep, you know, and right as he does it, you know, he's about to scream in pain, and it freeze frames again, and Bob Saget goes, "That guy's a dad," you know. And we laughed about that because Doomsday was telling me, she was like, dude, like, you're going to be a dad. And then I was like, I know, Dad. And she was like, Dad, like, don't, you know. And then it just kind of stuck. And then we just called everybody Dad, you know.
Nice.
So speaking of the band and all the band members, I mean, what was everybody doing before Mariachi Entertainment System? It seems like they're pretty, as Alex was alluding to, pretty well seasoned musically. Were they all in their own bands, or
They were waiting. They were waiting for us to form. No. Yeah, and actually, I don't know. I don't know what kind of impression people get, but I think MES is like probably one of the last things on their list of priorities just in their daily lives, because like they do. Let me think. I'll go down the line because I need to shout out to all of them because I do appreciate them.
Take your time, man.
I'm gonna start over here on the right in my mind. So yeah, Doomsday, like she was. I think she was in college when I met her, and she wasn't doing anything, just going to school. And so I was just like, hey. And since then, mariachi, like you were saying, Alex, like it can be so lucrative. She's just kind of been able to do that since she got her degree, and so she plays professionally, basically 5-6 days a week.
I follow her on Twitter, and she's got some like interesting tweets where she's like, if one person requests this song one more time, I'm gonna freaking scream. And I can't help but laugh.
Yeah, man, that's the whole. That's one of the reasons why I'm not like a full-time mariachi man. Like, God, it's some of that's anyway. But that's what she does. Over and the next Sean, he actually used to be. He's our bass player. He used to be a student of mine when he was in high school. I was his teacher.
No way.
Yeah, and then every now and then, like when he gets mad at me, he'll dismiss me and say, "Okay, Mr. Ortiz," you know, like I'll be like, "Dude, fuck you," you know, like he knows what he's doing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but
I gotta give him props for that. That's funny.
Yeah, he does that shit. He's a teacher, and he's really, really good teacher. I think his degrees in voice, and so like that's what he does. Chewy, fucking weird, man. Because he's such a good horn player. Like Chewy's probably like the top call trumpet player in San Antonio for mariachi. And he's a trainer at the police academy. He used to be a prison guard. Yeah.
Damn.
Right. And so, oh man, there's this great story that I can't tell about how we got into a fight at a bar, and I thought Chewy was gonna save me because he's kind of this buff dude, and he didn't save me. But
oh no. Oh god.
Swing and a miss.
But we won, so it doesn't matter.
That's good. That's the important thing.
Right. No, man, the guy's just a beast horn player, though, and it's just always funny to me that he's like an ex-prison guard, like, and a badass horn player. Super funny guy.
Weird combo.
Yeah, one of my favorite things about him is like, dude, you could be at a club with Chewy, like, and I mean like a club, like a, you know, and Chewy will just talk in his regular speaking voice, like like no matter how far away you are from him. Like, he doesn't lean into your ear and, like, talk to you. He'll just talk to you, like, from a normal, like, 4-foot distance, like, in his normal volume. And you can't hear him because you're in a freaking club. And he just thinks it's okay, you know? I always tell him about that.
Why is that so funny?
I don't know. And I always tell him, like, dude, you gotta talk louder. And he's like, yeah. And that's it. But anyway, Alana plays flute. Alana's, oh my God, she's incredible because she's super classically trained. She's also a teacher. But one day I was really struggling, and I was like, I can't get out arrangements. You know, I got a freaking day job and stuff, and it's too hard to write all this music. And we were in the middle of an album, and it was really hard. And Alana's like, well, I can try, because I think she said she had taken orchestration and some other bullshit class in college. She's like, I can try. And I'm like, oh, you sure? And so she tried. And long story short, her arrangements have wound up being some of our best arrangements.
Nice.
Despite the fact that she had never written for mariachi before at all. And and some of her arrangements have, I think our arrangement of Theme of Love is hers. And I absolutely love it. And Chewy kills it on that one. But
she did Theme of Love?
Yeah, she did that one.
For Final Fantasy IV?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she did the arrangement.
Okay.
It's really, really, really good. And I think
so. I thought I thought you did all the arrangements, so that's not the case. Like somebody else will like pitch in or
On occasion,
give you
man.
ideas and stuff.
On occasion, yeah. Well, like it's probably easier to point out the ones that I didn't do, because I do almost all of them.
I was gonna say that's pretty cool though. So it's people, you're cool with people like coming up to you with like, hey, I got this idea,
yeah, dude. I keep telling them, man.
I
these
love
motherfuckers-
that.
I keep telling them, like, do y'all want to play something? Write it and we'll do it. I don't even care what it is.
I love it. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, but they're lazy. But no, but yeah, like just whoever. And I tell them like whatever. Like you want to play something? Write it and we'll play it. I don't care. Alana's done probably the second most after me. But yeah, and we have like one or two maybe that Gilberto did, our former guitar player. But yeah, most of them I do. Like if it's a really, really good one and you're like, hey, Dave, did you write that one? I probably didn't write it. So,
Of course, obviously.
Right.
Let's go without saying at this point, folks. Come on.
Pretty much, yeah. Sable. Oh, Sable's a funny one, the violin player. That guy is super quiet. Like he's dead quiet. Like he hardly ever talks. But then he does, and he just goes along with whatever humor you throw at him, you know? And it's hilarious. Yeah. Like I remember one time I was playing some lick. We were playing a gig, well, not a gig, but like at a restaurant together. And he's also a teacher, but he plays gigs at night. And he says, and he says, hey, I like that lick. It's kind of jazzy. And I said, did you say jizzy? And he goes, it's real jizzy. You know, like he just like went with it. He was like, yeah, it's real jizzy. And I was like, oh, okay, you know, but like dead serious. You know, he's like super deadpan. And he's the only reason we have like a good violin section because I cannot teach, and so he takes over and he goes over the music when we have live shows, and he's the one that puts that together for our violin players because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Carlton. God, that guy's stupid talented too. He plays pretty much every instrument better than he plays every other instrument that he plays. So he plays bass better than he plays vihuela, better than he plays guitar, better than he plays violin, better than he sings. You know, I mean, he's just so stupid. And I don't remember how I actually got a hold of him. He's another one that's super quiet. But he comes and he plays shows, and he's just like, he just shows up, he works, he's awesome, and he's a workmight, man.
People just gravitate to you, man. That's the only explanation.
That might be the problem. Yeah, I don't know.
That might be the problem.
Yeah, but and then Eric's a good one. He's the last one. Eric's hilarious because Eric was a fan of MES. And,
oh, nice! I love it.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
He reached out to me one day and he said, hey man, like I live here in San Antonio. I just wanted to say I'm a mariachi. And I was like, yeah, Eric, I know. I played with you last week. Like, don't fuck like. And he says, you know, I'm this huge fan of MES. I think what you're doing is great. Blah, 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 all that stuff. And then I said, hey, you want a job? And he was like, yes. And I was like, okay, rehearsal's next Tuesday. Like, you better be here because we don't have any violin players. And man, that guy is dedicated as shit, man. He has MES merch that like none of us have. Like he gets custom ordered shit and he's like, check out this cool phone case, and we're like, where the fuck did you get that, dude? And he's like, yeah. Like, dude, like take orders or some shit. Like, what are you doing? What the hell that is, man?
Get some of us that stuff, man. What the hell?
Yeah,
Don't
dude, like
hoard
I
it.
want a phone case, bitch. Like, yeah, but that's Eric.
Nice.
But anyway, those are all my
Funny
guys.
as hell, man.
I love it.
That's funny as hell.
Yeah, my cheeks hurt from that roster rundown. That was really good.
That was great.
With all those players in the band, how hard is it to organize anything, to get you guys together or to practice or to do what you got to do? Is it difficult?
It's impossible. It can't be done. There's no, no. It's actually not that bad. You know, we're so lucky that I think everybody likes it. I hope everybody likes it. And I think what a lot of people do when they try to organize a group is they say, well, is Wednesday good for everybody? No, I can't. Okay, how about Thursday? You know, that kind of thing. And you can't do it that way. You know, you just have to say, we rehearse on Mondays, period. And
Yeah.
And like, you know, this Monday, who can't make it? Okay, you're not going to make it. But like within 3 Mondays, everybody better be here. Like start being here. And that, you know, that usually works for us. So.
See, I used to be into writing music and stuff like that and making my own arrangements and recordings and that sort of stuff, but I just don't have that in my personality to be like that, to be like that authoritative and to be that kind of organized. You know what I mean? Where I do. And it's a tough thing for me to be like to bring the hammer down and be like, listen, if you're not going to be here,
right?
It's like
right.
Because it's easy. It's easy for me to be like, well, I'm lucky to have this person play my stuff at all, but so I don't want to lose this person. But if I risk losing them if I get mad at them and start giving them orders and stuff like that, and I don't want to be a dick or anything like that. But you're not afraid to do that. You just like do that, and everybody likes the music enough. To do that.
Yeah, kind of. I think that there's also like you're saying that you kind of don't have the personality to be that sort of like lay the wood that much, but but when you do it enough, like when you're yourself enough that you end up wasting so much time, it sort of comes naturally. Like, after a couple of times of going, hey, can everybody come on Sunday? No? Okay, how about Monday? And how about Tuesday? Okay, well, we just won't rehearse this week. Like, after a couple of times of doing that and wasting your time, it comes out naturally. You just go, all right, look, assholes, be here on Monday, period,
I love it. I can totally relate to that. I know what you're talking about too.
Yeah. So
because you get sick of that. You get sick of like, I don't feel like it. It's like, dude, I don't care how you feel.
Right.
Just get here.
Right. Yeah. And actually, and I tell and actually a lot of people advocate for us. When we do have, it's rare that somebody says, oh, I'm not really feeling it or whatever. But we have good advocates. Doomsday tells a lot of people, she'll be like, guys, we rehearse like 2 weeks out of the year. Like, fucking be here. Like, just be here. Quit making excuses.
It's not that hard.
Not that hard. We're not like everybody else that's every week. And it is. And then we do wind up like around Christmas having a bunch, because that's around when our shows, around the New Year. We start having more rehearsals and stuff. So, and this year, shit, I don't know what the hell we're gonna do, man. Fucking COVID, and I don't know, man. But we'll see. Yeah, it's fun.
I do have to ask though, if some of the live shows that you've been to, and again to forget about COVID for a second and think back to the past when you're able to do things like PAX South and MagFest and that kind of stuff. I'm sure that energizes interest in the group. Like, they're going to get to play in front of a huge crowd and people that love video game music specifically, hundreds of them, if not thousands. Tell us a little bit about those experiences. What is that like?
It's a mixture, and I mean, you got to go back to the fact that, again, we are seasoned. We have been on stage many times, and I don't mean to diminish the quality of the attention that we get at some of those places. I'm not trying to say here that it's not a big crowd or anything, that because it is, but they are not, but they're not like the biggest crowds that we've played for just in our professional careers, and not just that, but a lot of times, like I said, some of these shows can get in the way of the professional life. I remember PAX South. I remember last year, Sean was kind of like, God, I'm at work. I have this concert contest to watch my kids at. Like, it's gonna be a close call for me to make it on time, and that's his job. That's what pays him. I can't tell him, ditch those guys, and just come straight here. Or for Doomsday too, she's kind of like, hey, I have this restaurant that's gonna pay me $300 tonight. Like, I'm basically missing it to come do this show, which is gonna be fun. But have a life to live, and so fortunately, again, going back to everybody enjoys it enough we make it work. We make it work, and the crowds are responsive enough that it is amazing. It is amazing to see people, respond to our music and be so receptive and so loving, and for about 3 hours there, we feel like gods.
Sure.
But But yeah, I think the thing that really motivates us to keep doing it is just to execute good music, because if we did it only for the crowd, I think we'd hardly ever do it. you know,
Oh, sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's good though. That's actually encouraging to me. Like that tells me that you love the craft enough that you're not just going to go away because people didn't show up one time, or you're going to keep going at it because you love the music. I think that's cool.
yeah, we really do, and I think you have to because, man, just like like I said, we've played in our share of huge venues with huge crowds. But our regular job, we're not kidding ourselves. Our regular job is to play in front of 5 or 6 people at a table. For 3 hours, taking all the requests. I mean, that's our normal job, and we're not above that. We're never above doing that. That's our work. So you have to love it, man. If you don't love doing it, man, I don't know what the hell you're in it for.
It's a working musician's life for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's why I got a day job.
And you mentioned Gods earlier, which reminded me of David Wise, one of my favorite musicians. What was it like sharing a stage with him? I know you have a whole video about it. You were at MagFest. I was actually at that MagFest, but I missed that concert probably because I was passed out from doing something else.
It was late. It was a late show.
But what was that like, and interacting with him and doing all that stuff? Because again, David Wise is a huge influence for me and a big reason why I love the NES in general.
David Wise, man, that guy, we were so bogged down with travel. If you want to know the story how that happened, there's a video for it. But we were so bogged down with travel. By the time we got there and we were in the green room behind the stage and kind of waiting to go on there, we didn't have a chance to like really run through or tell him or meet him or anything like that. And then he was just standing there, and I was like, shit. And I was like, what do you call him? Like who calls you by your first and last name all the time? Like, it's not like I was gonna go up there and be like, hello, David Wise, nice to meet you, David Wise. Mr. Wise, that sounds so stupid.
Mr. Wise,
David.
Dave.
Yeah, like Dave. Like, and then I'm just like, my name's David, and I'm not gonna call him by my name. This is ridiculous. So I'm just like overthinking it, and I was just like. So I didn't even say make any introductions. I was just like, went up to him and I was like, nice to meet you. And man, he was super cool, man. He was just so nice. And I warned him. I said, hey, look, I'm gonna throw. Like, do you drink? Because I'm gonna throw some tequila at you. And then he's
Nice.
and then he's like, oh, tequila, yeah. And I said, yeah. Is that okay with you? And he's like, yeah. Let's go. And I said, yeah. And he's like, right on. And I said, okay, here we go. And we get on stage, and then like I was gonna introduce him, and then he's just standing there again. He's like a ninja. Yeah, he was just like, and somebody had to like yell at me like, hey, look, fucking David Wise is on stage, and I was like, shit, I didn't get to introduce him. And so I had to play that off, and I was acting all drunk. I'm like, and if it isn't David Wise, he's on stage with us. And then we had agreed to take a certain form of the song. This isn't in that video, but we had agreed to, like, he was going to take one chorus. He's like, I'm just going to take one chorus, and then we'll move on to the next section. And so I was like, okay, cool, one chorus. We got you. And so we just did one chorus, and then, like, I'm about to move on. But then I look at him, and he's, like, still going. And I was like, oh, shit, okay. And then, like, he took, like, and I was like, okay, I guess we're doing two, And then I was like, so now I'm, like, just watching him. And then I'm thinking maybe he's going to take a third one. And then, like, right at the last second at the end of that chorus, he, like, looked straight at me. I was like, shit! And we were going on. I was like, and so.
Oh, man, that's stressful.
I got a good story about him, too.
Yeah.
So, so we're not supposed to, but we went and played hallway concerts at MagFest because we were just like, dude,
I saw
this.
that.
Like, fuck this.
Somebody, I forget who it was. Somebody posted videos of you guys playing, like in the hallways and shit. It was freaking awesome. I was like, oh my god, I want to be there right now. Dude,
it was amazing.
Cool.
It was the most amazing experience. I mean, in that atrium in MagFest, I don't know if you've ever been to MagFest, but I mean, that atrium is huge, and we just walked around playing some hallway stuff, and there's a bar there in the atrium, and I told the guys, I was like, let's just go take that shit over. Let's just go play at that bar. You know, this is what we do for a living. Let's just fucking go. And so we went, and David Wise is fucking sitting there with his band drinking beers, right? And we asked him to play with us, and he had his sax, and he played a tune with us, and you know, gave him a hug or whatever, and just like, hey, thanks. You know, he was so nice. And while I wasn't looking, Fernando, who's actually Doomsday's husband, he was with us too, and he's like selling merch. He's such a salesperson, you know. And he's holding up shirts, and he's like, I don't want to go back with a full suitcase. Somebody's got to buy this off of me. You know, he's just being the salesperson. And then one of my other guys who was there helping us out, he comes over to me. He's like, dude, Fernando just sold a shirt to David Wise. And I was just like, what? And he's like, dude, Fernando just took David Wise's money and like sold him a fucking shirt. And I was like, you gotta be kidding. Like, we could have given him one, you know? And he's like, nah, he sold it, man. I think he upcharged him too because he thought he had money.
What? Trying to get that rare money. Get that rare money.
Yeah, so
He's got all that rare money.
he does, man. But yeah, he was super cool, super nice. Probably one of the biggest highlights of my playing career.
Nice.
That's really cool, man.
Love it.
That's awesome.
Ooh, man, hey, these blue moons they're not joking. That's all I gotta say, man. They're not, you know.
I thought they were joking.
They were not. I thought they were too.
They were not joking?
I was laughing at first. I was like, oh, this is a good joke. And then
serious?
they were dead fucking serious.
Jeez.
So I gotta ask you, you showed up, or MES I should say, showed up on the Guacamelee 2 soundtrack. So
Yes.
how did that work? Like, what kind of direction did you get from the dev team? Were they
Oh,
just like,
man.
just do your thing, or
No, they were
like,
not
did
at
they
all.
tell
like,
you
do your
anything?
thing. Well, okay, so it started off with a tweet, I think. I think someone tweeted, hey, why isn't MES on this soundtrack? And like I tweeted back, I was like, yeah, why isn't MES on this soundtrack? And then like one of the main head developers, he messaged me and he was like, do you want to talk about this for real? And I was like, shit, yeah, dude. So he messaged me, and basically he said, we have a cutscene that we think maybe like a real mariachi would fit good in. And I thought, oh shit, like cutscene. I mean, that's basically like, because they don't have voice actors, so a cutscene is basically like a freaking open theater, like it's like a big stage for the music, you know. Mm-hmm. And so they said, we need original music. They had a guide track or like a temp track, you know, I guess the way they do in film. And I learned a lot because I lied to the guy. This is if you saw my David Wise video, you saw that I lied to David Wise. Well, I lied to the developers at Guacamelee because they said, do you compose music? And I lied. I said, yeah, of course. Of course I compose music.
Come on.
Who doesn't? Who's not composing music these days? And
Obviously.
yeah, right. And so they're like, great, because we want some original music here. And they sent me the temp track. And I had all these fantastic ideas. And they didn't really give me much direction initially. They just said, make it sound something like this. And actually, it was the temp track that they had was it was like Bowser's Castle from Super Mario World. That was like the temp track, and so I started writing, and then I sent it to them, and I was so proud. I was like, oh, I wrote a really good tune, and they hated it, man. They just fucking hated it.
What?
Yeah, they were just like,
come on.
and they were nice about it, you know. But
Yeah.
but they were just like, nah, this is not working out at all. Like,
Yeah.
you know, there's a problem here. There's a problem here.
That's
there's a problem
never a
here.
good feeling, yeah.
Right. No, I just felt really shitty, but I was like, okay, I'll let them fire me, you know, before I quit. So, I took another whack at it, and they were much more pleased with the second thing. And that time they did give me some direction. They said, you know, like do this, that, and the other. And we did wind up carving out something that was like kind of like, it's an original tune that I wrote. So that was that. But then I kind of said, hey, well, you know, you have a main theme. You have a main theme that's very reminiscent, at least from the beginning, on other main themes, Zelda most notably. And I said, but you know, and it's great. It's fantastic. I love the Guacamelee 2 version because it has like a mix of organic instruments and kind of chiptune-y things.
It does, yeah.
Yeah. That's Peter Chapman. And so so I said, you know, why don't we have a like an actual live mariachi version of that tune? I mean, it's Guacamelee. And they were all about it. They just said, yeah, cool. And so I reached out to Peter Chapman. He gave me the MIDI files and everything, and I just, you know, kind of stuck exactly to that. I added a lot of extra stuff because I just wanted to show off. I put a vihuela solo and screaming trumpet. I called all my friends. I was like, you have to play on this track. Like, you're going to be immortalized in indie PlayStation 4 history.
And it is, yeah.
Yeah,
There's some pressure there where it's like, I have to get this right because this might be my only thing that I get to do in this environment. So it's like, I got to get it right. So yeah, there's got to be a lot of pressure there.
Yeah, hell yeah. So we did, and then, oh my god! And then that track that we did, basically the mariachi version of their main theme. When Sony came out with the commercial with the launch trailer for Guacamelee 2, it's our track playing on the freaking launch trailer.
Oh, dude!
And I was sitting at home like crying and shit.
Awesome.
So that's cool. Yeah.
Nice job, Dad.
Yeah. Thank you, Dad. Appreciate you, Dad. Oh man.
All right.
Where are we at?
Alex, should we jump into some listener questions real quick?
Yeah, we got to jump into some listener questions about just gaming in general.
Oh yeah. Let's do that.
Chris S asks, have you ever considered designing a 16-bit game of your own, or what you'd really like to see in a Super Nintendo style game? Notice how he always keeps things at Super Nintendo because
Yes, man.
that's the best. It's
You
the best
know,
system.
I feel like
Obviously.
that's my life's mission, is to make a 16-bit style, kind of like Octopath Traveler. Basically an RPG. That's basically my life's work because I do everything. I make film, I make music, I animate, and to me, like, a video game, like, is the most comprehensive, like, form of art that you could possibly make, and so that is my life's goal, is to make a game.
It's a good point. It kind of incorporates everything, doesn't it? It's got
everything.
it's got the visual of a film, it's got the audio of traditional music, and then it's got the interactiveness of a video game. So it's like the hardest thing to get right because it's three different things. It's a good point. I haven't thought of it that way before.
No, it is. It's the most comprehensive thing, and like every kind of artist, and now that you have games that have, that they have these cohesive art styles where you have directors that are trying to get. I mean, they're like filmmakers basically. I mean, look at Kojima. What he was doing with Metal Gear Solid 1. I mean, he was already starting to make movies with video games, and so it is absolutely the most comprehensive form of art that it's my life's mission, dude. I'm gonna fucking do it.
You should get after it.
Right.
That makes me, when you say it that way, it makes me excited because it's like, how long did it take for film to get to where it needed to get to for people to, start really getting artistic with it? It took like 30 years or something like that, or 35, 40 years.
Right. Yeah. Film is a funny one, man. Like, film is a funny one too, because I feel like it starts. You have these thespian. I mean, acting has been around for so long.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
And even in the beginning of film, they're shooting film like it's a play in the beginning. With these long takes and kind of thing, and then they start developing emotional cues that are tied to the filmmaking process. And so, it takes a while, and I feel like we're at that point with video games where you can do it with almost any style, and that's why we have retro style video games, because now you can tell those stories where maybe on an actual 16-bit console we just weren't ready for it then,
That's right. That's a great point. I'm thinking of Ghost of Tsushima, which is what my girlfriend's playing lately, and I see how that plays out in a storytelling sequence, and it's kind of crazy where it's it's mission based, and you go to this map and you choose where you want to go, and there's so many different facets. It's like going from 3D to 4D, basically. It's really like next level shit. It's really crazy.
Hey, but Alex, you don't really like play new games, right?
Sometimes. I just watch my girlfriend play new games, and I make judgments.
This isn't like the old. It's not like the way they used to make them.
Yeah, I know, right? No, it's I like my old shit. I really do. No, I like watching my girlfriend play because then I can just like sit back and just like I should have done that. Why didn't you do that? No, I'm just,
I'll bet she loves that too.
Backseat gamer.
I bet
she loves every second of it. I'm sure. Oh, absolutely.
Hey, you know what? That's a whole other thing, man. Like, have you ever seen girlfriend reviews?
I have, yeah. That's the dude and the gal where they've been around a long time too. They've been around like as long as I have at least.
Really?
Like 5 or 6 years.
No.
Oh yeah, they've been around a long.
No way.
Time.
There's no way.
I'm saying, are you talking about girlfriend versus?
No. I'm talking about girlfriend reviews.
Girlfriend reviews.
They've been around for like a year. They just hit 1 million.
Oh, okay. I don't know what that is.
Dude, you got to check it out.
Already?
Yeah, they're super good. I really like girlfriend reviews. But it's basically it's the same. Like I guess it's a guy and a girl. They're boyfriend and girlfriend. The guy plays, and the girl. The tag at the beginning of the game is like take something like Final Fantasy VII Remake, right? She'll say, "This is not a review of Final Fantasy VII Remake. This is what it's like to live with someone who plays Final Fantasy VII Remake." And
That's perfect.
It's brilliant. But what I was gonna say was, I think you have another thing going there. You've kind of got like boyfriend backseat gamer going on with what you're doing. You should make a whole other channel, dude.
I'm looking at their thumbnails now, and it's funny to me. The whole first year was just that meme of the couple walking down the street and the guy looking back at the cute girl that just walked by,
right,
and the girlfriend giving him the look. All of them are like that, but
right.
but the cute girl that walked by are all of the characters from the video game. That's
right.
perfect. It's so good.
It's brilliant. You guys should check that. I love that that channel, man. It's the writing is so good, and that girl she's so perfect for I guess I don't want to say acting. But you do like kind of like because you do like Alex.
There's got to be some of
that
it.
You're giving a review, but you also write a script, right?
Yeah.
So it's produced, but it's not contrived.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So I don't want to say she's like acting like it's fake, but it's a produced show, and it's really good though.
Yeah, that's cool. Back to the question from Chris. Should we get back to that question?
Oh yeah, we got off topic.
He was asking what 16-bit game would you make if you were going to make a game. I again, obviously, if you've ever seen my YouTube channel, I haven't had an original idea in my life. But as part of that, I think
no one has.
I would love more of ActRaiser 1 somehow. Just give me ActRaiser 3. Just forget 2 happened, and just make a third one that does all the things 1 did, maybe a little bit better. And I think that's where I'm at. I want something more like that.
I like that.
So we're remaking games. That's what we're doing.
I have never had an original idea.
Man, that was cold as ice.
I steal all my ideas from you, Alex.
Oh, shit, man.
What was the original question? What? Can you repeat that again?
I don't know. You deleted it from the sheet here, but it was.
I didn't delete it. I undoed something, and something happened, and.
You undid all of the words that were there, but
well, I don't know what I did.
6.2%, is that what you got?
That's what I was saying.
6.5.
That monks, man, is doing it.
0.3% is making a difference right now.
He asks something along the lines of basically make a Super Nintendo game. What would it be?
Oh, it would be a beat 'em up RPG, and I know that already kind of exists with. There's the River City Ransom. I forget what it's called in Japanese, but they do their own thing in a Super Famicom game that's since been translated by a fan patch, and it's crazy. Like it's like super dramatic. Like you beat this first, it's like playing Final Fight, and you beat the first level, and there's like 5 minutes of like dialogue. It's like all this stuff happening, and like, oh god, we gotta get over here, but why? But wait, what about this guy? We gotta get over here. Which way should we go? And it's like split paths and all that sort of stuff. It's like, I guess that would be my answer, is like something along the lines of like a beat 'em up RPG style, kind of like along the lines of that, and the Dungeons and Dragons Shadows of Mystara kind of a thing where you have split paths, but you have a lot of split paths. You've got like 4 split paths instead of just 2, or you've got like you can introduce all sorts of different elements to it instead of just like, well, you can save the girl or you can go to your dad or something like that. Some dumb shit.
Thanks,
like
Dad.
that. Like whatever. But yeah, that's what I would do.
Did you get to play River City Girls?
I have not played that yet. It's on I bought it. It's in my Steam list, and I haven't played it yet.
I played it. I liked it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I love it.
Okay, we have one more question here from Hal42. They ask, what is your go-to puzzle game? And then they add, and why is it Tetris Attack? And I can speak first to this. I actually dabbled in Tetris. I hadn't played Tetris Attack in my life up until a couple months ago. And I tried it, and it was very addictive, but I wasn't sure why the game was so mean to me. I was like, why are things happening? Why are you mad? But I did have fun with it, even though I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. So I guess it is Tetris Attack. I loved it.
Wow.
No, Tetris Attack is weird because it has nothing to do with Tetris, and there's no attacking. So it's like,
I agree.
So it's like, what do I do with this information?
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
After that, no, I would agree. Tetris Attack is my favorite. I don't even know what it would be second place. Wow. I guess second place would probably be like Bust a Move or something like that. No, Tetris Attack is there's no Tetris, there's no attacks. So, but at the same time, it's like, oh, this is a great game. There's a ton of puzzles. There's a ton of like strategy that goes along. There's a lot of forethought that's involved in like, okay, where do I put this in the future and that sort of stuff. Color matching and shape matching and that sort of stuff. And I really like that game a lot. So, yeah.
Cool. We're all in agreement here. What about you?
No, I don't know why am I not familiar with Tetris Attack? Oddly enough, I don't know. What year did that game come out?
It was super late. It was
95?
it was like 95, 96.
Shit, man. No.
For Super Nintendo, so you might have missed it.
Maybe. I don't know. I do know my favorite puzzle game. And it's a game, I feel like it's super obscure, but I absolutely loved it. It was Intelligent Cube.
Oh, on the PS1.
Right, yeah. And I only ever played like the Pizza Hut demo version of it. But I was fucking addicted.
Dude, same.
I had a friend that played that same Pizza Hut version of it too, from junior high. That's crazy.
His name was the same demo disc.
I love that game.
Exactly.
And there was another game on that disc, on that Pizza Hut disc called Devil Dice. Also a PS1, well, obviously PS1, but that was another puzzle game that, man, I loved the shit out of. But I would have to go with Intelligent Cube, man. That game was the shit, man. You know what? I think it's even on the PS1 Classic, the one that they just came out with, like, in the last year. Yeah, I think it's on there. It's weird.
Is it on there?
Huh.
Holy shit. I gotta check
Yeah.
it out.
I think so.
Because I had a friend named Nick in junior high that had that.
Yeah, it is.
Because he got he was like one of my only friends that had a PlayStation, so I would go hang out with him just because I liked him. But no, it was actually because he had a PlayStation. But no, he was super cool. But he had that, and it was just the demo disc of like the first. I think it was like the first 3 levels or something like that. Or the first like 3 something, I forget what it was, but yeah, he played the hell. He was like, "This is all I play," and I'm like, of everything on PlayStation, this is it. And he's like, "Yeah, man,
yes, this is it." Yes, I stopped playing Metal Gear for that shit. It was great. I fucking loved it, and it was
Nice.
like it was so weird, man. I felt like I was like playing Liquid Television. Do you guys remember that from MTV?
Oh,
like,
of course, yeah. That's where Beavis and Butthead debuted.
Yeah. And I was like, because there's like a voice, and you die, and like
it was like, weird.
You have died, and it's just weird. It's like, yeah, I like it.
Oh, that brings back some memories. Oh, I forgot about that, man.
Hell yeah. Back to 1990 something.
Yeah, for me, that would have been 98, I think.
Well, for me, it would have been 95. No, I'm kidding.
96, maybe? I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I think it was 96.
No, it had to have been before I moved. So it would have been 96 or 97.
How old are you, Alex?
Forget. I'm 38. So I was born in 82. But I moved from one town to the other, and I would have known Nick before I moved. So it would have been before 97.
We have to get to the bottom of this, Alex. We cannot move on until you figure it out.
Keep quiet over there.
That's pretty good.
The audience is riveted with my remembering of when I played this. I can't even remember. I honestly don't know.
3 hours later, you're just flipping through a yearbook.
But no, Nick was definitely still there. No, I'm sorry.
Like, I have his picture in my wallet. Let me see if he dated the signature on the back. Dave, dude, it's been hilarious. My cheeks hurt. This has been one of the funnest interviews that we've done, man. You're hilarious, dude.
One of
You're
the best.
super talented. Yeah, man.
Oh, thank you.
This has been so fun.
Yeah, I had a blast, man.
You're the best.
I'm blasted. And seriously, Alex, man, it is so cool. You know, we've talked a couple of times, like over the internets. And,
we have.
But, you know, I hear your voice so much. And I really do, man. Like, I really mean it when I say I kind of depend on you so that I can have a good rest of my day, you know?
Oh,
that shit is meaningful. Dude, I remember the first time I heard that shit, I was driving to work. And I was like, and it's always on the same stretch of road that your video ends for me. And it's right before I get on the freeway. And I remember the first time I heard you say that, I was like, you know, I am going to have a good rest of my fucking day. And then, like, the next week, like, you did it again. And I was like, shit, yeah, he remembered. He remembered that I couldn't have a good day without him saying that. Alex cares about me. That's what I was thinking. And so,
of course,
yeah,
I
man,
care about you, man. I never didn't care about you.
I appreciate it, man. No, thank you so much for having me on here, man.
You're the best.
Yeah,
no,
it's cool.
it's one of those things where I just want people to be happy. I just want people to enjoy. I don't think it's that hard to just say, you know, enjoy the rest of your day. It's you know, and I'm not like some 7-Eleven employee. I'm
right. No,
I'm not saying that
it
because I'm told by my boss to say that. I'm saying that because I want people to enjoy their day.
No, like I can tell you mean it because I think it's in the culture of your man. That was another thing that look, we're gonna make this about Alex for a second. You know, I think it's in the culture of your channel. I remember another video that I saw was a video about, and I can't remember the specific wording, but I wasn't sure if it was basically video games for kids, and like holiday video games for kids. You know, and I know that you've made at least one, if not two videos about like what to play with kids, you know, and like your tone in those videos is like so wholesome, just like, hey, you know, some kids don't, you know, you come here to get educated about video games that you might not know about, and maybe you're wondering about this facet of this thing that I do, and so here's the answer. And it was just so cool because it's very family oriented. And
yeah.
I get that from your channel, is that you're very much about that wholesomeness. You care about people. You care about people caring about one another. And so, no, man, I think it's one of the greatest things, man. You just have an amazing channel.
Thanks for saying that. That really means a lot. That makes me want to make more stuff. So I really appreciate you saying that. You know how that's how this works. Like, it goes back and forth, you know. It's like a feedback loop kind of a thing where it's just like, you know, we go back and forth in that way. I love it. It's wonderful to hear that. Thank you. And your music inspires me, man. It inspires me because, especially at the beginning of this podcast, you said, not only do I want to educate people about video game music, I want to educate people about mariachi. And I was like, shit, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, man.
And I'm like, man, oh man, like that's freaking cool as shit. Like, how cool is this guy? So yeah, I love it. That's freaking perfect. So right on, man.
I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. It's been a blast.
Of course.
Heck yeah, dude.
Let's do it again
anytime.
sometime. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I laughed so hard it hurt. So yeah, thank you, and that's been another Drunk Friend podcast, everyone. Please If you have questions or comments, please reach out to us at drunkfriendpodcast@gmail.com. We like to read those, and sometimes we'll read them out here on the show. And if you like podcasts and you want to hear more, please check out the others we do on the network at polykill.com.
If you want to just help out the show, just remember to rate us and review us wherever you listen. It only takes a second to do, and it really helps out the show.
That's right. And we're on Twitter as well. I'm at Trav Plays Games. Alex is, of course, at SNES Drunk. And where can we find you, Mariachi?
At the bar. Mariachi Entertainment System. I mean, we don't have at Twitter at Mariachi MES, or on YouTube Mariachi Entertainment System.
You guys are like one of the first results when you type in mariachi on YouTube. So when you type that in, you'll see it. Or at least for me. I don't know.
maybe it's just your Chrome browser.
As always, we want to give a big shout out to Coolor for the podcast music. We already did it earlier, but we want to do it again because the song you heard is called Electric Star Bounce. And you can find a link to more of his music on the Buzzsprout podcast page. And a big shout out to Josh Leslie, who made our cold, crisp, refreshing logo.
It is a delicious logo. Please be sure to catch us all on YouTube, and thanks for listening.
And we hope you have a great rest of your day. Cheers!
Fuck yeah.